Everybody has a spirit of competition in them, and no better genre personifies this like fighting games. Unfortunately, not every game embodies that fun-natured spirit. I'm Foxy Steve from SFXXPLAY, here to bring you the top 10 worst fighting games. For this list, we looked at games that had broken mechanics, poor character design, bad graphics, and horrible implementation. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this list. If you feel like you missed something that belongs in this list, let us know in the comments, and it may appear in a future video. Number 10. Justice League Task Force. From Sunsoft and Acclaim, Justice League Task Force for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis features 9 playable characters and 9 accompanying stages, with horrible animations, limited moves, and poor controls. It also doesn't help that the execution of special moves is extremely difficult. It's laughably bad when the box art touts one of the biggest features is that you can have Batman versus ... Batman. It's nothing more than a poor excuse for mirror matches because there's not enough characters in this game. It received low review scores, and for a really good reason. Number 9. Dragon Ball GT Final Bout. Developed by Bandai and published by Atari in '97 for the PS1, this game was critically panned for being marred with sluggish controls and terrible graphics that combined to make bouts look like an awful stop-motion animated version of what DBZ fights should look like, as well as an awful cast of characters with only 10 being playable, a paltry roster size considering the depth this franchise has in it. The game also has severe localization issues where none of the original voice cast appears in the game. Its terrible camera systems only focus on one character for certain moves, leaving you unsure of where you are or where your opponent is. There are not enough Dragon Balls to unwish this mistake.
Round 1.
Number 8. Fighter Within. Released in 2013 by Ubisoft as a Kinect-only Xbox One title, Fighter Within was to show off the enhanced motion detection of the new Kinect. Unfortunately, it only served to remind people of the various pitfalls of Kinect games. The game was slammed critically for sluggish and often totally unresponsive controls. Despite fairly decent visuals, the game simply does not work, which is a surprise considering the new Kinect is far more accurate than the Kinect of old. While there are a variety of different characters, they all feature the same moves, rendering them completely pointless. Motion games 10 years ago worked better than this half-baked launch title.
Combo. High strength combo. KO. You win.
Number 7. F.R.E.A.K.S. Released by Midway in 1988 for PS1 and N64, F.R.E.A.K.S is a 3D fighter set in a dystopia Neo-America. That's with a K. It features 8 playable characters with 2 bonus characters, rounding the roster out at 10. F.R.E.A.K.S seemingly has the tools to be a fun game, from the interesting backstory to limb-decimating moves. Sadly, there's a distinct lack of fun to be had here. Bogged down by bland environments, characters, and music, the best thing about F.R.E.A.K.S are none of the parts you actually play in.
Round 1. Begin.
Number 6. War Gods. Developed by Midway in 1995, then later ported over to N64 and PS1 in '97, War Gods is a 3D fighter with the premise of an orb crashing to Earth, giving the 10 playable characters great power. The game is largely influenced by Midway's Mortal Kombat series, utilizing the same graphical style and even featuring fatalities. Sadly, the game did not receive much else of quality from the MK series. The game features terrible animations, as well as awful character and level designs, as well as limited movesets. Calling it a poor man's Mortal Kombat is almost too nice of a compliment. Number 5. Way of the Warrior. Developed for the 3DO in 1994 by Naughty Dog. That's right, the same Naughty Dog of Uncharted fame, this 2D fighter was created by a very young, nearly bankrupt version of the developer we know today. Nearly out of money, Naughty Dog used its own employees as well as their friends and family to portray the 10 different characters. The game does feature fatalities as opposed to be a competitor to Mortal Kombat. It's too bad most people didn't see these fatalities due to poor controls and overly difficult special moves. The game also suffers from dull character design and poor sound effects. The most interesting thing about this game is how it came to be, and that's about it. Number 4. Kasumi Ninja. Released for the Jaguar in 1994 by Atari, Kasumi Ninja was a capitalize on the violent fighting game craze started by Mortal Kombat. What Kasumi Ninja ended up being is another bad Mortal Kombat ripoff with worse controls, horrendous graphics, and extremely sluggish animations. This game also has very lazy and bland character designs. This game did nothing but serve as yet another nail in Jaguar's sizable coffin. Number 3. Ballz. What can be said about Ballz? Released in 1994 for the SNES and Genesis, Ballz is a 3D fighter that features characters made up entirely of balls. The game is an incoherent mess in just about every way from the moment you turn it on, from the odd, almost offensive music to the stiff, sluggish controls. It's a stretch to even call them characters, as the 9 playable opponents are just poorly rendered, different configurations of, you guessed it, balls. Nothing in this game makes any sense. During fights, you have different phrases such as suck a sidewalk and who are they referring to? You don't need balls to avoid this game. Just common sense. Number 2. Star Wars Masters of Teras. Teras released in 1997 by LucasArts for the PlayStation 1. Besides the shiny controls and below average graphics, even for the PS1, the worst thing about this game is that it barely uses any of the Star Wars property. The music is terrible, the voice acting is B-movie porn bad, and seemingly no thought at all went to any of the 13 characters' movesets. How do you even use Han Solo's blaster? The Force is non-existent with this one. Number 1. Shaq-Fu. The worst game on this list, and for good reason. Released in 1994 for the SNES and Genesis, this 2D fighter barely functions as a fighting game. The premise is as nonsensical as you could imagine. While going to a charity basketball game in Tokyo, Shaq enters a dojo and talks to a kung fu master. Then he stumbles into another dimension and has to rescue a boy from an evil mummy. The animations, while detailed, took way too long to play out. Don't bother trying mix-ups, as it takes far too long to do anything once you land. There are 7 characters in the SNES version, each as generic as the next, and the Genesis version features 5 additional characters, making it the best of the worst. The game industry needed this game like the movie industry needed Kazam. Shaq should have stuck to free throws. Oh wait. Think we missed something? Let us know in the comment section. Also, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more countdowns and other awesome videos. Once again, I'm Foxy Steve for SFXXPLAY, and thanks for watching.